Welcome back to the 2019 Great Give Radiothon at WNHH FM, live streamed at newhavenindependent.org. We're spending Wednesday and Thursday inviting everybody to be part of a great annual event in New Haven where we all come together to support the not-for-profit organizations that enrich our lives, keep our community strong, make New Haven what it is. 406 not-for-profit organizations this year are participating in the Great Give run by the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, where you can donate to as many groups as you want through one platform. The groups have a friendly competition where they tell you what they're up to and get all their supporters to give money, and then they can qualify for prizes. We're trying to raise more than $1.75 million this year for all these groups. That tops last year's great haul from 11,000 donors. And this half hour, we're going to ask you to give money. We'll tell you why. The Interfaith Voluntary Caregivers. We got Jane Farrell in the studio. Hi, Jane.
Hi, thanks.
Now, you were here last year, right?
I was.
Yeah, we're going to do this again. I'm glad we're doing it. And while people listen to you, Jane, I want them to know they can go to thegreatgive.org. Don't forget the word thegreatgive.org. You could donate to anyone on that platform during this Great Give extravaganza. And if you go to Interfaith, just search that word. You'll read up on what Jane's talking about, and you can give her some money. So, Jane, did you bring a poem or a song for us today?
I did bring a poem. Last year, I read a very serious poem, so this year I thought I would read a funny poem.
Okay. Will we allow that? Yeah.
Okay. So this poem is by Hilaire Belloc, and it's from a book he wrote called Cautionary Tales for Children. All right? And the title of the poem is Rebecca Who Slammed Doors for Fun and Perished Miserably. So, a trick that everyone abhors in little girls is slamming doors. A wealthy banker's little daughter, who lived in Palace Green, Bayswater, by name Rebecca Offendort, was given to this furious sport. She would deliberately go and slam the door like Billy-O to make her Uncle Jacob start. She was not really bad at heart, but only rather rude and wild. She was an aggravating child. It happened that a marble bust of Abraham was standing just above the door this little lamb had carefully prepared to slam. And down it came. It knocked her flat. It laid her out. She looked like that. Her funeral sermon, which was long and followed by a sacred song, mentioned her virtues, it is true, but dwelt upon her vices too, and showed the dreadful end of one who goes and slams the door for fun. The children who were brought to hear the awful tale from far and near were much impressed and inly swore they never more would slam the door as often they had done before.
Well, that's a good one.
So, you are been warned against slamming the door.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the thing you're supposed to do in high school somewhat.
Exactly.
I mean, if your house can take it, just to show the world that it's their fault.
Absolutely.
So why'd you read this?
I read this because I thought it was a funny, cute poem. I love Belloc's poems. I used to read them to my children when they were growing up, and of course they've all turned out to be exceptional. And I thought that more people should know about Belloc because he's really got some very comical poems. This was actually the least violent of all the ones that I had to choose from. So, well,
the Interfaith Voluntary Caregivers, we want people to know about them too. So what's your mission? What does your group do?
So Interfaith is we're celebrating our 35th birthday this year, and Interfaith's mission is to pair seniors with volunteers who who will help them out with the things that are necessary to enable them to stay at home as long as possible. We know that most people who are aging are facing a variety of challenges. So what Interfaith does is it pairs seniors with volunteers who can help them out with some of the challenges that they face in getting the things that they need done in their daily lives.
Is some of it food shopping, some of it going to doctors?
Most of it at this point is going to doctors. We are finding that is one of the biggest needs in our area. There are a lot of older people who need significant amounts of medical care. And so what we have is a wonderful volunteer corps that brings people, it's a door-through-door transportation service. They bring people to their various medical appointments, whether that is a standard doctor, an eye doctor, that's chemo, that's dialysis, that's a test, that's a scan, that's pretty much anything medical related, because we really feel like if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
Right. That's quality of life, and people are living
Yep.
longer now.
Yep. The other things that we do is we provide friendly visitors for people. That is mostly for a homebound senior, someone who is very lonely. They're not getting out. They need a friend to come by and play cards or read to them, reminisce, look at their photo albums.
And how often do they visit?
Once a week.
Oh, that's nice. So how many volunteers do you have?
We have about 75 volunteers.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And how many seniors do they help out?
So last year we served about 350 seniors.
Excellent.
We have an active client base of well over 800. And so a lot of our seniors receive services from us about once a week. The other things that we do help people out with yard work and because a lot of seniors are very house proud and they feel bad.
You want to stay living in your house as long as you can.
Exactly.
Are most of your people not in facilities?
None of our people are in facilities.
So these are older folks who are staying at home. By older, what do we mean? Because that number keeps going up.
Well, it's an interesting thing that you asked this. Older.
I mean, will President Biden or Sanders be 87 and calling the Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers to come mow the lawn at the White House?
Well, hey, we'll go. We'll go. So yeah, I think old is. We're funded, actually. We receive about 40% of our budget through the Agency on Aging for South Central Connecticut. That funding permits us to serve people who are age 60 and up. Mm-hmm. Now, you and I don't necessarily feel like 60 is all that elderly.
I'm pretty close. I got a year and a few weeks.
Yeah, I don't know how old is, but old's older than me, right?
It's not just a number.
Yeah, it's not just a number. I would tell you, though, that of our client base, probably 80% of the people that we serve are 75 and up.
Mm-hmm. Because still living in their homes, which is great.
Still living. We are serving a lady in New Haven who celebrates her 98th next month.
Excellent.
So,
what do you do for her?
We help her bring her to medical appointments. We bring her to a senior social program that we have where people get a lunch and they can hear a lecture on something interesting. Actually, we have a lecture going on tomorrow where we're featuring Jen McShane, the independent documentary filmmaker. A lot of stuff to keep your brain active.
Where is that going to be?
At Spring Glen Church at 1825 Whitney Avenue.
Which you're talking about in the break there with Kelly.
We're talking about,
Is that where you go to church?
No, I go to St. Paul's Church in Fairfield.
Okay.
I'm an Episcopal. I'm one of the frozen chosen.
Okay.
So
what does that phrase mean?
The frozen chosen? I think it refers to the fact that Episcopalians tend to be somewhat reserved. And they have a fairly
it's a cultural comment.
Stiff and formal.
You don't
worship
strike me
style.
as frozen, no.
No, not too frozen.
No, why? How did this come about? That it's an interfaith effort. How did this get started 35 years ago? The Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers.
We have an amazing history. We were originally part of something called Downtown Cooperative Ministries.
I remember that.
Yep. And
Kiragawa, was it?
What DCM spun off all these amazing endeavors. People who I'm sure are probably going to come here today to talk on the radio. Downtown Evening Soup Kitchen, Columbus House, Abraham's Tent.
Yep.
All of these people got spun off.
My synagogue's part of Abraham's Tent, where you for a week homeless come stay at the place and serve you.
Exactly. I mean, DCM was called the Social Services Incubator of New Haven, and we started out as the elder care component of.
What started DCM was just ministers. I remember Dwight Hall was involved. Is this about New Haven congregations that want to do more social action together across faith? Okay.
Yep, exactly. I also wanted to mention, in terms of programming, we're starting something new, which is a durable medical equipment bank.
Oh, what?
It's a durable medical equipment bank. So a lot of people here probably heard of Charlie's Closet. What it is, when people have medical challenges, they need different things like wheelchairs or walkers, or they need something to help them get around. Well, what a durable medical equipment bank is basically a free lending closet. So if you're in New Haven or you're anywhere in the area and and this is not reserved to people who are seniors, this is for anybody. If you need crutches, if you need canes, if you need assistive devices for your bathroom, our closet is going to be able to lend those things to you free of charge.
That's a good idea. How did that get started?
Well, so there is a really large equipment bank in Guilford called Charlie's Closet, which is part of Guilford Interfaith. And from what I understand now, they're lending out about 7,000 items a year. But we wanted to open something that was more centrally located to New Haven residents, because otherwise people have to travel all the way out to Guilford to get their stuff. So starting on May 6th in Hamden, we're going to be opening up this lending closet.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just a beautiful dovetail with our mission of connecting people to medical care. This is just a step further of what else can we do to help you with the things that you need.
Evolve with time and stay relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what you do in the Interfaith Caregivers, Volunteer Caregivers, which we're talking about this half hour on the 2019 Great Give Radiothon on WNHH-FM, working hand in hand with the Community Foundation of Greater New Haven for Greater New Haven, helping 406 nonprofits appeal for some of your dollars this Wednesday and Thursday so that we as a community can strengthen all of us together and be a more vibrant community. You do it by going to thegreatgive.org. You can't forget the word thegreatgive.org, and all 406 organizations are listed there. You can search any of the ones you want and give to as many as you want. They then qualify for matching dollars and prizes, and we're hoping to top that record $1.75 million raised last year. So we're talking to Jane Farrell from the Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers. Jane, how did you get involved with it? You talked about being Episcopalian. What's your story in getting involved with this group, and what do you do there?
So I had been a volunteer with my church and in my community for a very long time. I was a Girl Scout leader for 15 years.
I love the Girl Scouts. That's one of the great organizations in America.
I love the Girl Scouts. I mean, that's...
They really talk about focusing on people being good people and part of a community.
Yep, absolutely. Only good things to say about the Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
I had also volunteered with my church quite a bit. And so when I was looking to go back into the professional world, I had worked at another nonprofit in New Haven.
Which one was that?
I worked with Redo a Child. And I also worked for the Unitarian Society of New Haven. And I got the opportunity to come in and run the social program for Interfaith. And then about a year later, the woman, Kate Walton, who had been the director.
Kate,
Kate, she's still around, still very active in the community. She was going to retire, and so she tapped me as her replacement. So we worked together for about 6 months, and I came on board.
That's nice you had the transition.
It was wonderful. And
that's actually a hard thing to do at an organization.
It is very hard, and succession planning is so important to organizations. So today is actually my 1-year anniversary of coming on as executive director.
So how's the first year been? How's it been different from not being the person who has to worry about the lights staying on?
Well, Paul, you know exactly what that is. It's almost like having a small business because you're the person, the buck stops here. And whether that means...
Do you get break time? Are you able to have your phone off at night and watch a movie or something like that?
Yeah, usually I would say that our clients are, I'm available by phone 24/7, but our clients, generally people will stop calling you by about 10 at night.
Wow, so you're working all
the
time.
But I'm one of the things that's really made my life considerably easier, though, is that we've gone online for all of our ride scheduling.
That makes so much sense.
It's been amazing. I mean, our drivers, we've really, really ramped up the amount of service that we've been providing. So we're doing about 60 rides a week.
And how many paid staff do you have to coordinate 75 volunteers?
We have, it's me and my halftime associate.
Wow, that's a lot of work, Gene.
It is, but my heart's in it.
You're obviously driven by a mission because it sounds like when you talk about your professional work and your volunteer work, it's in the nonprofit sector. You're a helping person. Where does that come from? Is that how you grew up? Is it something to do with your religious faith? Where does that emanate?
I think that it's so I'm a recovering attorney, actually, and I worked.
So used to the hours then.
Yeah, and I worked in New York City for about 15 years.
Ooh, brutal. Did you commute?
No, I lived in Brooklyn. Had all my 4 kids.
Was that nice?
It was nice. It was nice. I like Connecticut better. But then I stayed home and I took care of my kids for quite a while.
What kind of law were you doing?
Litigation, securities, fraud.
So can you get competitive? Litigation is like sports. You got to win,
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm not really suited to that personality wise.
You didn't strike me as a shark.
Yeah, I'm not a shark by nature.
Yeah,
so when I was going to re-enter the workforce, I decided to do something that was something I did for free, and that was volunteering. So for me, coming back into the nonprofit world was really a natural based on...
how many years did you take off to raise your kids?
10 years.
You're reading a lot. There's been new data came out this weekend. The Times is writing about how women are more in the workplace, but the pay gap increases because women do more of the child care, and they're more likely to be ones to take them over. My wife and I actually did a part-time thing for the first 10 years with our kids, so we was able to work part-time. It's very rewarding. But I'm wondering now when I hear you talking about reentering the workforce, because one of the challenges they said is you get the same status, same pay, but it sounds like it was an opportunity for you to reorient your priorities and your mission, and that there might have been something that even on a practical level that hiatus maybe prepared you for a different kind of career.
Absolutely. And I don't regret any of the steps that I took. I think that having been an attorney,
It's nice not to regret and
right?
build on life.
But I feel like having been an attorney, we deal a lot, for instance, with the government in terms of compliance, in terms of applications. And having been an attorney, you do learn to be meticulous, very detail-oriented, and also very conscious of your legal restrictions, of your contract restrictions. So I kind of feel like everything sort of went into the mix. Everything kind of built toward making me the person that I am today. I don't feel like that was anything wasted. But I do feel incredibly blessed to be able to do something that I can go home and feel good about every night, which was not something that I had before. So I feel really lucky.
That's great. We're talking about the Interfaith Volunteer Caregiver Organization. We're here with Jane Farrell on the Great Give Radiothon 2019. Before I let you go, Jane, can I ask you about a day in the last year that you can remember when you said, "This is why I do it"? What happened to make you say that?
I would say that one day in the last year that meant so much to me was when we were going to teach our drivers to use the new software system. And we got all the drivers together and we just went around the table and we asked people to say, why did they do this? And the things that they shared and the motivations and the heart that they had for doing this, I mean, I teared up halfway through it.
Do you remember something somebody said?
I think what everybody said was that, and I think you hear about this from volunteers all the time, but everybody said at the end of the day, I'm getting more out of this than I put in. You know, I feel like I'm the lucky one.
All right, that's a really nice way to look at it. And a nice way to thank you, Jane, for coming in to the 2019 Great Give Radiothon. We're going all Wednesday and Thursday, folks, here at WNHH FM. We're asking you to, we're visiting with people who do the great work that make our community what it is. And then ask you to go to thegreatgive.org and donate money to some of these groups as part of the Great Give. And I think right now we're asking you to go for the Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers. We heard what a great work they do, and you can't imagine money going to a better use than what we just heard. So keep up the great work, Jane. Thanks for coming in. We're going to listen to the Afro-Semitic Experience performing Better Get Hit in Your Soul this is the Afro-Semitic Experience album. This is Paul Bass saying we're going to hit you at the top of the hour with the Keep the Radiothon going, all the good work. And we're going to be shifting gears a little bit with some Elm City Shakespeare.